Well, I just heard from an insider at EA that another studio closure has happened, and as many as 350 people have just been laid off. And I don't want to necessarily speculate as to the reason why, because as fun as it was to meme on Anthem, the game actually sold pretty well. Now, we do know the way the games industry works is you can make a lot of money, but if you don't make all of the money, it's deemed a failure. And that may be what we're seeing here as backlash to Anthem, but I can only speculate on that. I can't be entirely sure. I also want to let the people know that certainly some of these people who have been laid off watch my videos, probably. And I'm sorry that you got ground up by the machine. Ultimately, my heart goes out to people who get into the video games world with a passion in their heart as a dream. I remember when I was in high school, like Full Sail and all these schools were advertising to learn how to make video games, and to work in the industry probably felt like a dream come true for a lot of people. Unfortunately, the reality is in 2019 that these games development companies, especially AAA ones, are giant human garbage disposals where good work, kind hearts, and dedication go in one side, and if not enough profit comes out the other side, they just cut off the feed. I, for one, find myself in a weird position because I do strongly understand how capitalism affects these companies. I am not a pro-union guy. Obviously, these layoffs will lead. I may be the first one to break this, depending on how quickly it uploads. So I appreciate your likes on the video and your comments in the comment section down below. But my heart does go out to those who were laid off. Certainly, this will spur more conversation about the way employees at AAA companies are often treated, and will fuel even more conversations around unionizing, which will, in my opinion, only be worse for game developers, specifically here in the United States. But I have the actual email from Andrew Wilson announcing these layoffs. So let's actually go through it together. From Andrew Wilson, team. We are a company full of great people working to do great things for our players. We work alongside friends and colleagues, and some of the most talented creators, innovators, and experts and leaders across the industry. We're also living in one of the most disruptive times games have ever seen. New audiences, new games, and new technologies and new business models are fundamentally reshaping the world around us. The expectations of our players, our businesses at EA, as we look across a changing world, it's clear that we must change it. Now, if you're an EA employee and you're reading this, you're probably like, oh crap, what's happening? As we said at the end of last year, there are tremendous opportunities ahead, but we've also faced real challenges in the fiscal year of 2019. We must be thoughtful about how we are learning from our challenges and evolve for the future with deliberate moves to better deliver our commitments, refine our organization, and meet the needs of our players. Certainly, laying off hundreds of people is probably a great way to do that. We have a vision to be the world's greatest gaming company. If we're honest with ourselves, we're not that right now. We have work to do with our games, our player relationships, and our business. Across the company, teams have already been taking action to ensure that are creating a higher quality games and live services. Start with getting rid of that. Reaching more platforms, content, and subscriptions, improving our Frostbite tools, focusing our network, cloud gaming priorities. It's interesting they mentioned that, and closing the gap between us and player communities. These are moving us in the right direction. Now, here comes the bad news. As part of these changes, today we are also making some important adjustments to our teams. Our marketing, publishing, and analytics teams serve as stewards to our brands, seeking to inspire the world to play our game. A year ago, we began to bring these units together, and now we're ready to deliver on the value of these functions operating as a single go-to-market unit. In order to achieve this, we are making changes to simplify processes and decision-making, improve the overall effectiveness of our marketing content and analytics, and build more flexibility into our marketing as well as the world around us continues to change. Now, this is the part where your stomach starts to drop. If you've ever been laid off, and I have been laid off, and I've also laid people off, I will be honest with you, both feel entirely awful. When I was in my 20s, I had to lay off maybe 60 people, and many of them burst into tears. Many of them far older than me. It was a situation that changed my life forever. It was a situation that led me to quit working for a corporation and start working on my own company with a dedication to always run as lean and mean as possible and not get bloated as to never have to do that again. Luckily, thus far, I haven't had to. I continue. As player experiences are changing, so too are they looking for our help. The worldwide customer experience team is here to provide support, and we must continue to evolve their needs. More players than ever are looking for help through self-service tools, community, social media, and we are shifting to accommodate that. We're also changing how our support teams work with our game teams and making other adjustments to our skills and tools better to provide the help that players need. Now on to the future. Now on to the bad news. We are continuing to evolve our strategies to reach players in certain regions of the world. We need to go to market in different ways and different geographies. China. In some areas, we will be going direct to our players. In other regions, partner relationships will be our best path. As part of this, we made the very difficult decision to close our offices in Russia and Japan, including our studio in Tokyo. We've had great teams committed to these markets, and they will be, although we've decided to take a different approach to the future, the valuable work to help us establish our business in these regions. We will continue to serve our players in Russia and Japan and new games and services while sharpening our fiscal year 2020 global market strategies and opportunities that will help us reach new levels of success. The changes we're making today will impact about 350. Notice how they say roles. That's on purpose, right? 350 people. You laid off 350 people across the company. They are very difficult decisions. We not take them lightly. Yeah, but you go to bed on a pile of $100 million, so you'll be fine. We are friends and colleagues, and the situation where they'll impact people's lives is emotional and hard for us all. That's right. The real victim is Andrew Wilson, everybody. We are doing everything we can to ensure and are looking for people and helping them through this period to find the next opportunity. This is our top priority. That's a lie. In addition to these organizational shifts, we are addressing our need to better execute with focus, increasing quality. Great games will continue to be at the core of everything at EA, but we must strive to think differently about how to amaze, inspire, and surprise our players. EA Studios has launched a new initiative to reset our framework for delivering quality, drive our creative process, improve our player experience, and set an agenda for disruptive innovation in our games. Yeah, like how you change literally nothing in Madden, in your football, and every one of your sports titles every year. That's really innovative. We recognize the importance of high-performance teams. To do this, our studio leadership will be focused on creating an environment, blah, 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 blah. It's been a challenging year, and amidst the great work we are doing to change this is a difficult day. We are learning at every turn. And yes, Andrew, I weep for you, Andrew. It is a tough place to be to, lay off 350 people. I say that in jest. It actually is difficult to do that. For us on the outside looking in, a man with one of the highest salaries on earth, it's hard to feel bad for the guy. Probably never met a single one of those people. And this decision sounds like it is a cost-cutting initiative, an opportunity to shift revenue around. It's interesting that they mention cloud gaming, though. I've theorized that EA might be working with Google on something along those lines. We know that Google's going to need a big-time partner to make Stadia work, and EA would probably be a good example, a good opportunity for them. Is this because of Anthem? It's hard to say. Is this business as usual for giant game development companies? Yes. Unfortunately, the development cycle leads to great pushes and then great times of lean needs. And that's an unfortunate side effect of this business. Certainly working for giant AAA corporations puts you at risk. And to those laid off, I hope that you find something. I don't know what game development in Russia and Japan is like, but I can assure you the PR of this, the optics of this will ensure that EA remains one of the most hated companies in the world. I hope you were at least informed by this video, and if you were, please remember to drop a thumbs up, and we'll talk to you again a little bit later today.